Uncharted, played right Uncharted. Turn off my email down. Where's the movie I was watching? I won't watch it no more. My mind don't want me to watch it no more. It's not good for me no more. My mind changed. You see how my mind can change any second? It's crazy. One day I'll become a 64 streamer. I'm not gonna lie, I'm serious. You think I'm bullshitting? That's up to you, man. Not me. What should I watch? The Virgil, the Fashion Fraud. I'll put this tomorrow. Watch it. React to it. And then post on my reaction channel tomorrow. Load it. And then Friday, another video. I'm hustling, man. You won't quit. Gotta keep doing it till get better at it. And if you keep doing, nothing happen, keep doing it. That's mean you love what you're doing, and one day he will pay off. That's it. Simple as that. I'm gonna buy Virgil the Fashion Fraud by Trap Law Rush. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. And yeah, I'm going to watch them. It's 22 minutes. Let's go. I'm speaking right now. It's hard like a motherfucker.
When it comes to high fashion, originality is supposedly everything, but Virgil Abloh somehow managed to build $1 billion fashion brand by doing the complete opposite. Now don't get me wrong, he's been a pioneering creative. He was the first black artistic director at Louis Vuitton, the founder of Off-White, and to some, the creative genius that redefined.
Oh, they probably kill him because of that. Because they're doing fraud. All of a sudden you pass away and you say you were sick? What the fuck? I was saying you were sick. It's crazy. Sorry, guys. I was saying you were sick. Crazy, man.
Street fashion, but when you take a closer look, the cracks in his rep do start to show. Because beneath the veneer of innovation was a designer who built his empire on borrowed ideas and lazy copy and paste tactics. But what makes it even more sinister is his greatest heist wasn't even a design at all, but it was stealing the dream of his closest friend and mentor, Kanye West. So today, we're going to take a look back into the life of Virgil Abloh and find out how he got away with being one of the biggest fashion frauds of the 21st century. Because once you start peeling back the layers of his career, it becomes painfully obvious that Virgil wasn't really a revolutionary, he was a remixer, and not even a subtle one.
Then a year after that, Bernard Arnault could have picked anybody he wanted to be the head of Louis Vuitton. And who was it? And as I got on that flight, I knew I had to go. Because if I didn't go and give Virgil that hug, who was I then?
You know, no one knows that I had been offered the deal by Bernard Arnault. No one knows that the deal was pulled.
That's what Off-White is different. Like, I love counterfeits. It's the best feedback. It's better than like a great review on Vogue. Like,
Me and Virgil became rivals. This is the person I spent the most time in my life with my mom, the second most time with Kim, the third most time with Virgil in my entire life.
Oh man, I gotta use the bathroom. Where's Virgil's grave? Okay, so, oh my god. What did he say?
Shout out
my entire life.
Oh man, I gotta use the bathroom. Where's Virgil's grave? Okay, so oh my god. Virgil's grave.
Virgil. In my entire life.
Oh man, I gotta use the bathroom. Where's Virgil's grave? Okay, so oh my god.
Shout out to today's sponsor, the masters of male grooming, Manscaped. Let's get it. If you don't get Manscaped, you gon' need a band-aid. Helping 12 million men.
Nah, don't do it. Don't do it. That's not good, man. Don't do it. It's not good. I'm watching your shit. Yeah, I salute you, but don't rap. Please, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Matter of fact, skip. Skippy. Don't rap, man. You can't rap for shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, good.
You're welcome, Booty. Now we rich.
What does it say?
Booty hole. What?
37 minutes. Mine says an hour.
Fashion's most exclusive circles, let's rewind back to where this all began. Born in 1980 to Ghanaian immigrant parents, Virgil grew up in Rockford, Illinois, just a couple hours outside of Chicago. And unlike most successful fashion designers, his academic path had nothing to do with textiles or design. He got a bachelor's in civil engineering from the University of Wisconsin-Madison back in 2002, followed by a master's in architecture from the Illinois Institute of Technology. But while studying architecture, Virgil stumbled upon the work of a guy called Rem Koolhaas, an architect who had designed flagship stores for Prada. This seemingly random connection would spark something in Virgil. If this architect could cross over to the world of fashion, why couldn't he? During this time, Virgil was also part of Chicago's creative scene, running with artists, musicians, and designers while dabbling in DJing under the name Flat White. That's exactly how he would cross paths with Kanye West, who at this point was already establishing himself as a rising star in the music scene. Now, this link-up made a lot of sense. For one, Virgil and Ye were two ambitious Chicago kids with massive chips on their shoulders and a shared obsession with high fashion, the brands that would later obsess over them. The story goes that back in 2002, Virgil skipped his final architecture critique, likely the most important presentation of his entire degree, to meet with John Monopoly, Kanye's manager at the time. And what happened next was a bromance so tight that the pair would become practically inseparable. When Kanye went on his first self-imposed exile to Japan after the infamous Taylor Swift incident back in 2009, Virgil was by his side. And when Kanye decided that he needed to learn the fashion industry from the ground up and somehow managed to land an internship at Fendi, he made sure that Virgil got a spot too. And this wasn't the kind of internship that you would expect an already hugely successful rapper to do, something more akin to a viral marketing campaign. No, Ye and Virgil were actual interns who were reportedly paid just $500 a month. Now, to be fair, having done internships myself, usually you don't even get paid. But anyway, when their Fendi internship ended, Kanye would appoint Virgil as creative director of Donda, his creative agency named after his late mother. And from there, Virgil would begin overseeing Kanye's merchandise, album art, and stage design, practically becoming the visual architect behind some of Ye's most iconic moments. He would serve as the art director for Kanye and Jay-Z's Watch the Throne album, earning a Grammy nomination, designing album covers for 808s and Heartbreak, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and Yeezus, as well as working on stage designs for Kanye's tours. And he was even one of Ye's groomsmen when he married Kim Kardashian. But while Kanye was collaborating with top fashion brands like Louis Vuitton and trying to work his way to becoming their creative director, Virgil was quietly absorbing everything. He was watching how the luxury fashion machine operated, studying its hierarchies, its rules, and most importantly, where those rules could be bent or broken, as well as keeping a very keen eye on Kanye West and his ambitions. But before he could infiltrate the highest circle,
I betray you. You're trying to do what's his best, so you want him to work for him and then not to make his own business? What?
of European luxury, he would first need to build his own brand, and even that, he would start by screen printing on other people's clothes. Virgil's road to becoming one of the most famous clothing designers in the world started with several short-lived projects that played an important role in developing his style. In 2012, while still working with Kanye, Virgil would launch a clothing brand called Pyrex Vision. The concept was simple, if not slightly audacious. Buy dead stock Ralph Lauren flannel shirts for $40, screen print the word Pyrex and the number 23 on them, and resell them for an insane $550. He was literally buying someone else's designs and marking them up over 1000% after adding minimal graphics. Of course, This shortcut Larden business model raised eyebrows, but it also revealed something fundamental about Virgil's approach to design. He wasn't necessarily interested in creating something from scratch or working hard, but he was treating fashion like a DJ treats music, sampling, remix, and recontextualizing existing elements without really adding too much of his own creativity, whilst also realizing that the success of clothing brands had actually very little to do with the clothes themselves and everything to do with the brand that was built around the clothing. Pyrex's vision would eventually shutter within a year, almost as quickly as it appeared, but Virgil would always have more than one project going at the same time, and at this point, he had become the part of a DJ and art collective known as Bean Trill, made up of members like Heron Preston, Florencia Galaza, Justin Saunders, Matthew Williams, and Virgil himself, and a mysterious member named simply YWP, which was rumored to have been none other than Kanye West himself, or Yeezy World Peace, an honorary member of the collective.
Shit for y'all to go to work to, ride to, listen to when y'all working out, when y'all, whatever y'all doing, to provide a soundtrack for this that's gonna come out. We're gonna keep on doing this over and over and over, making from our core, from our gut, and it's with the creative director Matt Williams and Virgil Abloh and the whole team, Don C, Ivan, all the Big Trill family, R&B people.
While Bean Trill would firstly focus mainly on music, they would soon begin also making clothing, and would quickly rise to become one of the most coveted streetwear brands around 2013, becoming known for their simple but bold graphics and internet-inspired aesthetics like the use of hashtags, and more than anything, their connections with many of the most popular artists at the time who would use and promote the brand, like Drake, Justin Bieber, and Chief Keef, who would famously
Them chicken dry as fuck.
even get his very own Free Keef t-shirt from the brand during his short stint in jail in 2013, which was even rocked by numerous fellow artists like Travis Scott, Soulja Boy, A$AP Ferg, and even Rihanna. And the Bean Trill Collective would even direct Keef's 2013 music video for the song All Time, which was filmed almost entirely in front of a green screen and then filled with bold and psychedelic graphics, in many ways pioneering the style that's now a staple in underground rap music videos. But in the end, just like Pyrex's vision, Bean Trill's time as one of the most hyped about streetwear brands was relatively short, and the beginning of the end would start already in mid-2013, as the owners would seemingly decide to cash out, ditching the brand's former image as rare and expensive by striking a deal with PacSun, one of the largest retail chains in America focused on youth apparel, whilst the last nails in the coffin were surely collabs like these with Coca-Cola and Budweiser that follow. But once again at this point, Virgil had already left the ship to start another project, and this time he would take it further than anybody could have ever possibly imagined. This project, of course, being the brand Off-White. Launched in 2013, Off-White would take Virgil's sampling philosophy to new heights, or new lows depending on your perspective, and it would start with the very logo and visual identity of the brand itself. On the left here is the signage from Glasgow Airport, designed in the late 1960s, featuring diagonal stripes and an arrow motif, and on the right is Virgil's Off-White signature branding. Now, the similarities are, to put it mildly, striking. But even beyond this, fashion sleuths have pinpointed other elements of Off-White's visual identity that appear to be lifted from existing sources, right from the typefaces down to the graphic layouts. When asked about his copy and paste antics, Virgil would frequently defend his approach by comparing it to Duchamp's ready-mades and Andy Warhol's pop art. However, there's arguably a significant difference between Warhol openly transforming Campbell's soup cans into an obvious artistic commentary, and Virgil allegedly repackaging existing designs and quietly selling them as original creations. But whatever the case, with Off-White gaining momentum, Virgil was no longer Kanye's behind-the-scenes collaborator, he was now a competitor, and he was positioning himself for the biggest opportunity of his career, one that would cement his
Probably by the logo too.
place in the fashion industry while simultaneously fracturing his decade-long friendship with the man who gave him his start. In 2018, Virgil was appointed men's artistic director at Louis Vuitton, making him the first black designer to hold such a position at the French luxury house. For anyone who'd been following the trajectories of both Virgil and Kanye, this announcement landed like a bomb, because this wasn't just any job, this was the job that Kanye had desperately been chasing for years. He was, after all, named the Louis Vuitton Don. All the way back in 2009, Kanye had made his first major deal with Louis Vuitton when he had designed a shoe collection for the brand. I remember having a fake pair of these back when I was in school, it was popping. And in 2016, Ye was supposed to finally take over as the company's creative director, replacing Kim Jones, the very same designer Ye had put on years earlier, back when he had hired him to work on his Pastel label. It would have been a full circle moment, and even Kim himself reportedly recommended Ye for the job, and word was, Louis Vuitton had agreed the position was actually his.
Bernard Arnault offered me a deal after the Yeezy Season 1 show to support the Kanye West brand, because we had 4 billion impressions and it was the biggest fashion show of all time, like bigger than
Victoria's Secret, bigger than Chanel. So Bernard Arnault had a meeting with me and looked me eye to eye, shook my hand and said, I'm gonna do the Kanye West line.
This was happening during a time when Kanye's Yeezy brand with Adidas was already revolutionizing both the sneaker market and Ye's bank account. His shoes were selling out instantly, reselling for thousands, and turning him into one of the most successful designer entrepreneurs in the fashion industry. But despite building what would eventually become a billion-dollar empire with Yeezy, Kanye still craved legitimacy from the fashion's old guard. No amount of commercial success seemed to satisfy his desire for acceptance from the elite fashion world that had long dismissed him. But then, the 2016 breakdown happened.
To give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. I've been sent here to give y'all the truth. Jay-Z called me, bro.
Unfortunately for Ye, this now infamous public meltdown spooked LV execs so badly that they would end up hitting the brakes. Kim Jones was asked to stay on board a little longer, and Ye's dream was quietly put on ice. But by 2018, LV was finally ready to make a decision, but by then, things had changed. Behind closed doors, they decided that Ye was too unstable to represent the brand, and instead, they handed the role to his closest protege, Virgil, a man who by all accounts was one of Kanye's closest friends, someone who had seemingly been quietly watching, learning, and maybe even plotting all along. And just when you think it couldn't get more cold-blooded, Virgil would hit Kanye with a call, allegedly just a few minutes before the news broke online, to let him know he had just taken the job that Kanye had spent almost 2 decades chasing. And then, when Virgil finally made his debut for Louis Vuitton at Paris Fashion Week, the crowd was psyched. But in the middle of all the hype, there was Kanye, front row, tears streaming down his face as he embraced his former protege at the end of the runway. Most people at the time probably saw this as a mentor overcome with pride at his student's success. But was Ye crying tears of joy, or was he mourning the dream that had secretly been snatched from him? The dark truth, like most things with Kanye, is probably all of the above. In that moment, he seemed to embody the conflict at the core of their relationship, formed from years of friendship and camaraderie, but also fierce competition, and ultimately jealousy and betrayal, as Kanye himself would later admit. At Louis Vuitton, it was impossible to deny Virgil's commercial impact. For one, his pieces were flying off the shelves fast, but also, Virgil's history of combining streetwear and high fashion helped LV reach a younger demographic while maintaining its prestige positioning. And while Ye's Yeezy shoes with Adidas were undeniably crushing it at the time, his broader fashion ambitions, particularly with the Yeezy clothing, was still hitting roadblocks after LV curved him and embraced Virgil instead. However, as time went on, it became clear that even after reaching the pinnacle of success, Virgil never grew out of his copy and paste habits, and as we'll soon see, it was only a matter of time before this habit would eventually catch the attention and ire of other fashion creators. The first major heat Virgil caught for alleged plagiarism came shortly after his debut runway collection with Louis Vuitton, but the allegations concerned his own brand Off-White. In July 2018, Norwegian sportswear brand Helly Hansen sued Off-White for jacking their trademark diagonal stripe pattern that they had been using for 40 years, demanding Off-White destroy all products with those stripes and pay them damages. Some Virgil fans tried to dismiss the lawsuit, pointing out that diagonal stripes are common in fashion, but this missed the point entirely. The issue wasn't just about stripes, it was about Virgil's habit of constantly lifting existing designs with minimal changes and passing them off as a revolutionary. So while his supporters would claim his genius was in repackaging ideas with an unmatched intensity, it was impossible to shake off the fact that this was laziness at best and theft at worst. Because if you strip away the buzzwords and industry jargon like repackaging and recontextualization, what you're left with is a designer who built his career largely on other people's ideas. Even as the controversies piled up though, Virgil's carefully crafted persona as a trailblazer of fashion helped deflect the criticism. But for those paying attention, a troubling pattern was becoming impossible to ignore, as later that same year, Virgil would also be accused of copying an earlier Off-White design from the artist Luco Fontana, the inventor of an art movement known as spatialism, who Virgil admitted to being a fan of. The following year, in 2019, Virgil would allegedly steal from a young artist named Punk Zek, with Punk's mother Michelle Ellie, calling out Virgil for copying her son's designs after they had met at his Paris presentation. But Virgil would brush off these accusations by framing his approach to design as part of streetwear's rich tradition of sampling and remixing. To some, this defense was basically a masterclass in having your cake and eating it too, because unlike music, where samplers pay for clearance, or fine art, where appropriation is explicitly acknowledged as commentary, Virgil seemed to want it both ways, taking freely from others while building up his reputation as an innovative designer, and surprisingly, the fashion industry still ate it up. However, about a year later, Virgil would find himself knee-deep in another controversy, this time with Belgian designer Walter van Beirendonck, who again would straight up call out Virgil for directly copying patterns and designs from his fall 2016 collection, and this time using them in his Louis Vuitton Spring-Summer 21 collection. Both designs featured men's suits in primary colours with figure lines attached to the front of the jackets. Van Beirendonck would blast Virgil in the Belgian media, essentially calling him a talentless hack who couldn't create an original design to save his life. He would go even further as throwing a jab on Instagram with an outfit that simply read, "I hate copycats." In response, Virgil would claim his Louis Vuitton collection was inspired by the brand's own 2005 menswear show under Marc Jacobs, not Van Beirendonck's work. But fashion insiders quickly noted that the similarities to Van Beirendonck's designs were far more striking to any connection to LV's archive. The controversies would continue in 2021 when Walker Wear, a streetwear brand that had been dressing hip-hop royalty since the early 90s, would file another lawsuit against Off-White for allegedly plagiarizing their logo. According to the lawsuit, Virgil replicated a jacket design that they'd been using for almost 30 years and slapped a price tag of over $2,000 onto it. It seemed that there was an all-too-familiar pattern with Virgil's work, often feeling like a sophisticated game of spot the reference. But interestingly, when most designers get caught copying like this, they hide, deny the allegations, or even lawyer up. But Virgil didn't do any of that. Instead, he developed an entire philosophy around appropriation, essentially turning plagiarism into a whole design style. He called it the 3% rule, the idea that you only need to change something by 3% to make it your own.
Then I have my sort of like 3% approach. Right now, I'm only interested in editing something 3% from its original form. I'm basically tired. I might be too old, but...
Virgil would also compare himself to a DJ sampling music or a hip-hop producer chopping up old records, repeatedly defending his methods by saying his strength was in selection and recontextualization rather than pure creation. Now, this...
I never buy off-white, off-blue, whatever they call it. I'll never buy those shit.
Approach might work fine for an art school thesis, but when you're charging over $2,000 for a hoodie with someone else's design elements, things can get murky real fast. But just like with the time of Pyrex Vision, Virgil just didn't seem to care. And while his design fraud game was a hotly debated topic on the fashion scene for years, Ye's silence was deafening, at least until Virgil tragically lost his battle to cancer in 2021, at which point Kanye would finally break his silence, with all that hurt and bitterness that he'd kept inside eventually exploding out into the public eye. Years following Virgil's Louis Vuitton appointment, Kanye would maintain a public front of support for his former mentee. In fact, Kanye would consistently express pride in seeing someone from his circle achieve what had once seemed impossible for black designers, even though he was hurt about losing his creative director as well as his Louis Vuitton deal.
So the hurtful part was they agreed to support my clothing, and guess who was one of my designers? Virgil. Then they didn't do the deal.
They would also both go from success to success, Virgil with Off-White and Louis Vuitton, and Kanye with his Yeezy empire with Adidas, which would end up making him a billionaire in 2020. The same year, he would also strike a very lucrative deal with Gap, finally giving him the kind of creative leadership in fashion that he was promised years earlier. But keep it real, Gap ain't no Louis Vuitton. Then, after Virgil would pass away in November 2021, it would take even a year for Kanye's world to begin crumbling too, as his Twitter rants would bring an end to his partnerships with Adidas and Gap, and whatever was going on with Kanye, it would seemingly either change his feelings towards his old friend, or begin to finally bring out his true feelings towards Virgil that he had been bottling up all these years. And this would culminate in Ye's recent outbursts, as he would take to X on multiple occasions to air out his frustrations, saying, "Virgil let me down," and simply F Virgil. He would go on to drop the now infamous betrayal list, where he put everyone from his own kids to former collaborators on blast, and sitting right at the very top of that list was Virgil's name. These outbursts would also continue on streams that Ye would do too. In another stream, the diss would get even darker.
Niggas who go against me be dead, bro. Niggas who steal from me, bro. Look at Virgil, he dead, bro. Who steal from me and try to take the king position, be dead, bro. Ah, man, I gotta use the bathroom. Where's Virgil's grave? Look at Virgil,
Continue on streams that Ye would do too. In another stream, the diss would get even darker.
Niggas who go against me be dead, bro. Niggas who steal from me, bro. Look at Virgil, he dead, bro. Steal from me and try to take the king position, be dead, bro. Ah, man, I gotta use the bathroom. Where's Virgil's grave? Okay, so, oh my God. One of the people that Virgil, like, changed their lives is gonna come after you, so that means no one's coming after you.
And And when asked about it in interviews, Kanye would double down with the story that we've now heard multiple times. The Louis Vuitton position was supposed to be his, that Virgil knew it, and just to twist the knife, that he went behind his back anyway. Now, whether Virgil actually betrayed Kanye maliciously or simply accepted an opportunity that had been handed to him is something that he took to the grave. But what's clear is that his decision to accept the job that had once been Kanye's dream left wounds that never healed. So where does this leave Virgil's legacy? Was he a visionary who democratized fashion and broke barriers for black designers, or was he an opportunistic copycat who built an empire off the back of other people's ideas? The truth, as always, is somewhere in between. Perhaps more than a revolutionary designer, Virgil was a master marketer who had a deep understanding of branding as a foundational element of fashion. He realized from early on that the power of fashion is all about the story that the clothes are able to tell. Therefore, he wasn't just designing clothes, but building cultural movements. And that approach took him very far, to the point that there's no denying Virgil's impact on the fashion industry. He not only helped break down the artificial barrier between streetwear and luxury, but he became arguably one of the most well-known contemporary fashion designers. And as the first black designer to lead a major European luxury house, he kicked down doors that had long been closed to people who looked like him. For many young designers of color, seeing Virgil at the helm of Louis Vuitton was revolutionary. It was proof that they too could aspire to fashion's highest echelons, but there's also no denying the questions about his originality and integrity. The long trail of stolen design elements is too substantial to ignore, and his 3% rule raises some serious ethical questions about creative ownership in an industry built on original ideas. And perhaps even worse, he managed to convince young designers that ripping off other people's designs was not just acceptable, but downright clever.
Everyone talks about Virgil. He has that 4% rule. You see something you like, you change it 4%. Do you live by that?
I live by that. I with Virgil, but I think I'm gonna do it better than Virgil because they call it a 2% rule. I call it take that shit.
So yeah, some might say branding him a straight-up fraud is harsh, but there's no doubt that he played fast and loose with the concept of originality, relying on his charisma, connections, and marketing savvy to paper over the cracks in his design credentials. Virgil, at the end of the day, was a master marketer, a dog designer, and a fickle friend.
That's good. Oh, that's why. Wait. While you can stream your screen and watch Netflix on it, the main focus of Kick is live stream activity like gaming. I see now. Shit, I wanna watch a movie, that's all. I'm out. Doug. I'm gonna buy all the car. Wait. $7 p.m. already? Holy shit. About to play video games. Buying a lot of car. Wait. Shit was public. Fuck. The fuck? That's a lot of money. 160 million. Hey, Doug. Every time I move this, the camera doesn't keep moving. Now I realize that. Okay, so by 10,000 by blue. Okay, I bought this already. Oh shit. What? Oh no. So yeah, I bought one before. I bought it, that's crazy. Oh, that's dope. This one nice. Yeah, I bought it before. What the hell? Damn. I feel sleepy. Every time I'm trying to play a game, I'm lacked out. I'll get some money. Boy. Say Mori. Let's see what you got. Oof. This one is nice. I can customize it. Should I get a blue one? Damn. See you later, boys. I'm sleepy right now. In fact, I'm gonna stay. Took a nap. When I woke up, I'm gonna play game. Ouch. Where's my phone? I'm gonna see if this. Hold up, boy. I gotta do something. I gotta take care of something. Man, listen, man. I'm grinding right now, not playing. I did a video. I went to travel Canada, so subscribe if you're new. Trying to think keywords. I want to become successful. I ain't go to the tour. I did the tour before. I went before, so I just. The real video is coming soon. That's me and my brothers. Wait. What's this doing here? What? What happened when I close my mouth? What the fuck that mean? That be bugging. Yeah, that thumbnail is dope. I did the thumbnail, yo. Thumbnail look nice. I like it. I like the thumbnail. I think this video gonna be legendary. Yeah, I know it's a long ass video, but trust me, it's worth it. I was having fun. I was high, so this is the thumbnail. Yep, I did it. Canva. Having fun, man. You gotta enjoy what you really like, okay? But anyway.
On April.
Who that? I'm about to sleep a little bit. When I get up, react to this shit. See you later. But no, did I finish? Them hoes don't pick up. It's okay though. More grind, more fuel. Girl left you delivery. It's cool, man. You know, I keep grinding. More fuel for me. More fuel. It's gonna be more fuel for me, and I'm gonna keep going. and I know they're gonna double back. When they double back, it will be too late. So every time a girl rejects you, don't get mad. Just keep working, keep grinding, and then they will come back. Trust me. I just give a girl a phone. I just give a girl my Instagram. I text her. She left it delivery. So should I get mad for it? No. Cause I tell her what I do, and she's a nursing field too. I know that for sure. She's gonna be an ex. Are you a 35 and you wanna somebody that's save you? What the fuck? What's wrong with you? But it is what it is. Gotta keep going. One day they will come back like boboing. It's just like boboing. Trust me. Crazy. Big head left. So good, man. I feel sleepy. I feel not sleepy. Like, what's wrong with me? You know what? I'll stop this shit. I don't feel good.